I never thought, something that I do just for me, which is to sing, to hide in a group of voices. And I don't say hide in a bad way. I just mean, to blend in with a group of people. I never thought that would lead me to a solo trip for a week in Manhattan, singing at Carnegie Hall. One of the things.
Fantastic.
So fun. It was so fun. It was so fun in ways that I did not expect it to be fun.
Really?
Yes. Like, one of the ways that it was fun, cliffhanger alert, you're going to have to tune in to find out what was fun about the trip. On this episode 107 of the Harness the Power of Planning podcast, in part 1, I talk about my self-care practice of singing and how that led me to Carnegie Hall totally unexpectedly. All of that on this, the Harness the Power of Planning podcast, starting now. So I just got back from being in New York for a week.
Yay!
Yes, and so the spoiler alert is that I sang in Carnegie Hall.
Because you practiced.
Right, I did. I practiced so much. I was practicing 5 hours a day. I have never rehearsed for anything except when I'm working on a new training, I will rehearse that much. But other than that, I have never rehearsed this much in my life in one day for something. And it's so interesting because singing at Carnegie Hall was not on my bucket list. However, I love community singing, and it's part of my self-care. Like, there is something about community singing. I've been doing community singing since I was in 3rd grade.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, it's funny because at my school, I learned about it in 1st grade, and I was counting down the days until I was going to be 8 years old and could audition for the choir. And I still remember my choir conductor's name, Paul Solomonovich, who I didn't know, but he was a really big deal because he also conducted the LA Master Chorale in addition to my little school. So I had this amazing conductor, and I still remember some of the songs that we sang because he took it very seriously. Like, we weren't singing, just like, I remember we had to do the song Jerusalem, right? It was like Jerusalem,
Wow.
I was like 8 years old singing this little song, or not so little song. And so I love community singing, because I do stand up. Like, you might think like, oh, I always want to be the center of attention. I love being able to fade into the chorus of voices.
Mm-hmm.
It's so nice. And well, 1, it's low pressure, but 2, just that feeling of being a part of something bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And in my opinion, music and dance, they just speak to something primal in us. Like, when you get to dance with a group,
Mm-hmm.
when you get to sing with a group, it feels different than when you're doing it alone.
Oh yeah, for sure. Very different. Yeah. Very primal, like you said.
And
absolutely.
Very primal. And so I had actually auditioned for one of the chorales back when my kiddo was younger, and the rehearsal schedule didn't work for me. And so when I joined this women's organization that I belonged to about 4 years ago, and I found out they had a choral group, I was like, I'm there. That's for me.
Nice.
And so, so I've been doing it for about 4 years now. And a year and a half ago, our conductor said, hey, I've been invited to apply for us to sing at Carnegie Hall. And, in my choral group, there's about 50 of us, and there's a lot of musical background in the choral group. And some people were super excited about it. Some people one person's actually already sung at Carnegie Hall twice before.
Oh, wow.
So she was like, y'all, we have to do this. It's amazing. It's fantastic. And I was kind of, well, I don't know. We'll see if it works out for me, because unfortunately it's during the school year, and it kind of depended on if my kiddo needed me. But I kind of always had it in the back of my mind, like, okay, here's the placeholder. I bought my plane ticket. I set things up as if I was going, although I didn't really know if I would be going. Really, even up until 3 months ago, I didn't know if I was going to go. It really depended on, hey, kiddo, do you think you'll be okay with the 3rd to last week of school without me here? Mm-hmm. And she said yes. She gave me her blessing to go forth,
Great.
go forth and sing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Great.
Yeah, and so I never thought, something that I do just for me, which is to sing, to hide in a group of voices, and I don't say hide in a bad way. I just mean, to blend in with a group
Hmm.
of people. I never thought that would lead me to a solo trip for a week in Manhattan singing at Carnegie Hall. One of the
So
things.
fantastic.
So fun. It was so fun. It was so fun in ways that I did not expect it to be fun.
Really?
Yes. Like, one of the ways that it was fun that was totally unexpected was that it was kind of like I got to pretend I was an NYC resident for a week because I had to be somewhere every
Fun,
day.
right?
Like, I either had a rehearsal
Hmm.
or a concert every single day. We had 2 concerts and we had, I don't know, 5 rehearsals. And I had to go to different places because the rehearsals moved around. And
Yeah.
and let me tell you, I have been to Manhattan I don't know, a dozen times, 15 times, and I have ridden in cabs. I've ridden on the subway twice in all of those years of
Oh.
going
Uh-huh.
because it was intimidating, right? Like, it's a little bit of an intimidating system, which I don't know why I was so intimidated because I've done the French subway system, which is like, whoa, like really intense. But anyway, all I can say is that the apps are so good now. That
Crazy
Crazy
amazing.
good.
It's
Because last
insane.
time I was there.
It's so
Yes,
insane.
so anyone
Hmm.
going to Manhattan,
Hmm.
public transpo is so easy now. So easy.
It's so easy. Yeah, it's wildly
It's wildly
different than it
different
used
because
to
I was
be.
last there 9 years ago, and it
Hmm.
wasn't like it is now. And
Hmm.
because you go all the time. You're from that area. You're there, like, every year,
Hmm.
aren't you? Every summer?
Yeah, I remember this. I remember the subways in the 80s when you definitely didn't want to take the subways,
When was the
And
transition?
so,
What year did these apps become so good?
oh, I mean, the apps weren't even a factor, 10
Okay.
years ago. Like that wasn't even a
Mhm.
thing, And then, I mean, honestly, I don't know exactly when, because I was using the trains and then the subway, and so I don't remember exactly when, but yeah, it's a huge game
Such
changer. You don't have to know the subway map back to
No.
front in order to get where you need to go. You can just, plug it in and it'll tell you. And it tells you, when the train is coming too, which is
And
insane.
well,
You
okay.
know what I mean? Like to the
It's
minute.
amazing. It's
It's
amazing.
crazy.
Let me
Hmm.
just say these few things for anyone who is doubting us. Let me just enumerate for you how amazing it is. For one thing, in the back in the days, you had to, like, have a subway map and you'd be like, "Hello, I'm a tourist looking at the
Hmm.
subway map." You know? Now,
Hmm.
all you have to do
Hmm.
is look at your phone. And guess what? Everyone's looking at their phone. So you don't stand
Right.
out at all as a tourist looking at your phone. Okay?
Hmm.
Secondly, now almost all the subways have internet connection. So
Hmm.
I actually jumped onto a train because there were 2 trains I could take, it didn't matter which one, and they were the only ones coming through this station. So the doors were open as I go through the turnstile. So I jumped on and I'm like, "Okay, I don't know what train I'm on. And and the
Yeah.
train did not have a big red number or letter like a lot of them do. It was like a
Hmm.
gray, like, Atari pixelated thing, and so I didn't see it right
Yeah.
away, but before I
Hmm.
found it, I looked at my phone and it said, "Train W, departing the station." I was like, "Oh, I'm on train W, departing the station." And you can literally just watch on your phone as the stations pass, so you don't have to be staring at, like, "Okay, what's my stop? What's my stop?" Um, that was
Hmm.
so amazing, and then the third amazing thing is that you don't even need a Metro card anymore. You literally take a credit card.
Your
Yeah, a
phone.
credit card that
Hmm.
has an
Yeah.
RFD, or you use your Bluetooth-enabled phone, and you tap the
Hmm.
turnstile. And
Hmm.
it keeps track of transfers, so if you tap the same card on the same journey and you're going on multiple things, you only get charged once. And this message brought to you by New York City Metro. If you hit, I think it's $32 or $34 in a week, the rest of the week is free.
Yeah, so you play it. Yeah, so it makes it far more. I mean, I remember the days when you had actual
Yeah.
tokens, and then they switched to Metro cards, and now it's But yeah, I mean, like it's similar here in LA, with the tapping and the ease of use. I don't think that you can use your Google Maps to get you on public transportation
Yes.
all over. It doesn't have as precise, obviously, of like, oh, your train's arriving in 1 minute or blah blah blah, that kind of thing. on Google Maps,
Right.
obviously. But yeah, it's all moving. It's moving and shaking. It's definitely in. Certainly in this
Okay, so this
century.
podcast brought to you
Yeah.
by the New York Metro Transit Authority. So if you're going to Manhattan, do not be scared. I even took the public transport all the way in from the airport to my friends. I had to do 3 transfers. It took me less than an hour to get from LaGuardia to Murray Hill. So easy. And
yeah, it's LA could take a page from that.
yeah, and
For
it cost
sure.
me
Yeah,
$2.90 versus an $80 cab. Like,
yeah, easily
yeah,
$80, maybe more.
no brainer. Okay, so
Yeah.
the fun thing was getting to play NYC resident, running around to rehearsals and stuff like that, and having to figure out the public transportation system. So that was just really fun. It was kind of like borrowing someone else's life for a week. And yeah, and that
Fun.
was fun. And then I ended up having a concert at St. John the Divine, which I've never been to. Have you been inside?
I have been inside.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I didn't even know that this might be a thing that I'd want to see. It's the largest cathedral in the United States.
It's go ahead. Yes. Yeah.
I didn't know we
crazy.
had anything that big here.
It's wild. Yeah.
Apparently, you can fit 2 Notre Dames inside.
Oh my
And
goodness. That I didn't know.
And the Statue of Liberty, I think she can lay down in it or stand up. I don't know. One of the 2. It's big. It's big. And that concert was so special because I had a solo and it was just our chorale group, which we were about 30 people. And it was also a little intimidating because guess what? You don't get to do like a sound check in there. You know, it's like a working cathedral.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know if I was going to be able to make an impact on this vacuous space. But that was such a special experience. I will never forget singing in St. John the Divine. And if you're going to Manhattan, put it on your list of places to visit because it is so cool. Not just the architecture and stuff is cool, but like it's a cool space. They do a lot of events. They're really a community center, not just
I didn't realize that.
it's interesting. They have like all these little like chapel of the artist, chapel of the first responder, chapel, you know, they have all these little I shouldn't say little, but all of these you know, special interests that they support through their work. It's a really great space. Check it out. I can't believe I'd never been there before. It's fantastic.
It totally gets overlooked, right? Because St. Patrick's is Midtown, and everybody thinks about St. Patrick's. It's right across the street from Rockefeller Center, so it's like it gets a lot more play, so, or at least notoriety. Yeah, it's
gorgeous.
It's amazing,
and it's so interesting because it's been built over such a long period of time. It kind of reminds me of La Sagrada Familia in Barcelona, where it has a lot of different styles. So if you want to kind of see different styles kind of colliding in one piece of architecture, that's interesting. And it's right by Columbia. So if you're going to Columbia, just make the trek to St. John because it is well worth your time. I'm so glad I'm just so glad I got to visit. Like it was such an interesting place. And yeah, it was so fun. And I got to see friends that I haven't, spend really quality time with, my friends who live over there who I don't always get to see. So I'm so glad that my commitment to, artistic expression as a form of self-care led me to have this 1-week trip in Manhattan that fed me in so many ways that I was expecting and wasn't expecting.
That's so awesome. It's so wonderful. I mean, I love New York. It's obviously different living there, but like, it has a special place in my heart, of course, because I grew up in that area, was born in Manhattan, but it's magical to me. I know it's changed a lot over the years and people have things to say. People always have things to say, it was better this decade. It was better that decade. But for me, it's always been a magical place. And it has a special place in my heart. So yeah, I love New York. I love it. So I'm so glad you had such a fun time and that you get to, it is fun to pretend to be a resident for, like to play at cosplay.
Exactly.
Being a resident
Cosplay. I like that.
Super fun.
Yeah. And actually I got to practice my packing light rules, which if you want to get my packing light template, it's a 4-page long how to pack light. It includes photographs, tinyurl.com/bywd pack light. So because I was going, I couldn't lose my concert dress, so I didn't want.
Right.
And so I'm glad I have my packing light down pat, because I was able to, go for a week and just check luggage, and that was great. So, okay.
Do you have a special item that you absolutely can't travel without, either for the flight or just when you're traveling? Is there a little gadget-y thing or something that you really love?
Yes. It is my eye mask.
Yes.
Yes.
Mine too.
I have a eye mask. It is red silk, and it says in cursive writing, "Do not disturb."
Do not wake me up to ask me
Exactly.
about my peanuts, okay? Let me sleep. I don't need any
Exactly.
peanuts.
So
I'm
I
good.
take it on the plane, and it's also great when you get to your destination, because you never know how much light is going to be coming in. I did not used to be light sensitive, but I have light blocking curtains at home, and so I've gotten used to that. And so now light will wake me up, and so it was nice to have that at my friend's place, because sure enough.
Yeah. I don't go anywhere without it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't camp without it, because exactly that, start the sun rises and you're in a tent and it's starting to get light at 5 a.m. and that will wake me up. Yeah. So I don't travel without an eye mask either.
Yes. So my eye mask absolutely is the thing. I also like to carry a small notebook, but I carry it with me everywhere. It's in my bag at home too, because I never know when I want to write something down. But when I'm traveling, I often try and sketch a scene. I'm not good by any means, but I just like to it's just a different way to experience a scene when you're trying to capture it on paper, and it's a fun memory.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fun.
I think you've seen me do that when we go camping. I often.
Yeah, it is. Yes. I love it. That's a great thing, because absolutely, making notes or journaling seems, and if you're not an everyday, you're not an artist in the sense that, you're a sketcher or a painter or whatever, that and so it is. I was like, oh, I never really thought about that, because I don't consider myself that either, but I do like to craft and be artistic, and like you said, in self-care through artistic expression.
Yes.
You don't have to be good.
No, you don't have to be good
to do it.
It's just a fun memory to capture something, sketching it rather than with a picture. And also it's in a different place, right? A lot of times the pictures we take with our phones don't ever end up going anywhere.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Thousands
Yes,
of them.
thousands of them. Although I do make a habit, and I'll just share this really quickly. I love this service called Touch Note, which whenever I come whenever I come back from something, I will upload a couple of pictures and create a postcard, and then that postcard I send it to I'll capture some thoughts from the trip, and then I send it to myself, and then I put that in my planner. Natasha actually just got one the other day, right?
It's so awesome. It's so great. It's fantastic.
We went camping together, and I sent her a postcard with a couple of pictures, and then just funny things that our kids had said. And then Natasha sent me one back with a really great photo, also taken on that camping trip. So that's a really fun thing. Check out Touch Note.
It is. It's fun. We're old school to get things snail mail, but it's also really fun too, because how many times have you bought? Well, I'll speak for myself. How many times have you been on a trip where you bought postcards? Maybe you're in a foreign country, so maybe you don't have getting the stamps and whatever to send it from there. You might not do it, right? So, or maybe and then you bring it home and you intend to send it from home, and then you don't. You know what I mean? I can tell you, I have lots of those postcards from places and 4 or 5 of them of the same one, because I was going to send it to 4 or 5 people, And so Touch Note is great, because you will send it. It's right there. You just and it's. I think people also just, rather than the New York City skyline, would love to see a picture of Allegra, in St. John's Cathedral, or
right.
And would rather get that, I think, than a picture of the Statue of Liberty,
Yes.
And then I don't know, you actually send
it gets sent. You can do it right then. It's so fast and easy. This episode also brought to you by touchnote.com.
Touch Note, yeah. Listen, you gotta get some sponsorship.
Touch Note, NYCMTA. You need me.
Yeah.
Okay. And by the way, if you all want to see, I put together a little 3-minute video about my trip to New York City. You can see it all over the place, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. If you want to go see that, you can see it. And you can even hear me singing a teeny bit of my solo.
Ooh.
So there you go. By the way, at some point, we're going to have to talk about the different conductors that we worked with in New York City, because there was one she was such a magnificent leader. I really just want to talk about her and her leadership style. So we'll have to do that in a separate podcast, because right now we need to talk about love on the spectrum.
Oh my gosh.
So thank you so much for joining me, Natasha. It was so much fun to chat with you about these things.
Always.
And thank you for listening. I am here every Thursday live. You can also always re-listen to this as the Harness the Power of Planning podcast. And again, if you want my packing light freebie, tinyurl.com/BYWD pack light. This won't be free for much longer. I'm actually going to be changing some of these freebies so that they're going to be like little $3 products that you can buy. But for right now, grab it while it's free. And as always, planning makes everything easier. Thank you for joining me. Thanks for listening to the Harness the Power of Planning podcast. Be sure to rate and like and subscribe and do all the things so that we can show up when you need us.